Okay, tutorial on how we package these shipments. I'm just gonna start with the pile I have here and see what we come across. Okay, so I have all of the terpenes already separated just to make it that much easier to know what I'm grabbing in terms of the 1000, 1500 anytime, 1500 PM. Just helps with less confusion. The more organized there, the better. With every terpene shipment, we include an Extreme Terpenes letter. And right now we're also including our product brochure for skincare. I'm working on a terpene one. So when the terpene one is done, that's the one that will be going with the terpenes. But for now, we're just including this. Some customers are learning about the skincare for the first time through that brochure. Okay, so any terpene order that has a Bible icon here, let's see, this one does not. This indicates that this is their first order, and with every first terpene order, we send a free Bible. So this will be included in the package. This is going in a padded flat rate envelope. So for the most part, we're working with either the padded flat rate envelope or a box A, or a box B if the order is large, which we mostly see with skincare. So the Bible can go in. It doesn't need much padding beyond this padded envelope itself. Typically put it to one side, create a space here for a bottle of terpenes. This is just getting one bottle, 1000 anytime. The top of the dropper here is normally kind of covered with dust or little hairs or something from the boxes and shipment. It's just not a very nice look for this product, especially being you know, such an expensive, high quality product. So I always make sure to have, thank you. I typically have just been using a paper towel. I get it a little bit wet with some clean water, and I just have this on hand to, typically it's actually better to just kind of do all of them at once. In this case, I might just kind of do them as I'm grabbing them, but you'll see it just makes it look a lot nicer, and it just takes a couple seconds on our end. So that's that. These are always going in a small bubble. It's just always with all of the products, especially the glass, just making sure, keeping in mind that USPS does not treat packages very kindly. They often get thrown or dumped, and it's going to get really expensive if we have to start replacing, especially, you know, these bottles of terpenes or the face serum, things like that. So it always goes in a small bubble. In this case, it's also going in a large bubble. We wrap it around for that extra protection. Like this, there's obviously a lot less layers of bubble protection versus if we're wrapping it like this. This, let's see. These are already folded. These will not be folded, obviously, because they're printed each day. So we just fold them into thirds to match the rest of the paperwork. If there's a Bible, I typically just kind of like to put it right there on top of the Bible. Keeps it from bending. And then these packages don't end up being the most, you know, even shape with this. Maybe sometimes I'll kind of like pull a little bit of this out so that the terpene bottle can kind of fit a little more along the side. In this case, maybe not. At this point, it's more important that this is wrapped well and not going to break. Okay. And then I'm just going to seal the bag as cleanly as possible. Always just kind of keep in mind that, you know, if we were the customer receiving this, presentation does matter. Again, this isn't like the prettiest shape of the package. If it's able to kind of go next to the Bible, that's ideal, but otherwise, this is the package they're going to receive. So that's that for single terpenes and Bible. And then I'm just over to the side here, putting them in a bin that will be taken to the post office. So here is another very common type of order that we get. There's no Bible icon here, which means there's no Bible needed in this order. This person has ordered from us before. And they, again, will be receiving a terpenes letter, what will be a terpenes brochure. For right now, because this is a skincare brochure, and I know that they've already gotten one of these before, and this is not a skincare order, for these I've actually just been not including the skincare brochure for the terpene order. Let's see, so this is 2 bottles of the 1500 Anytime. Again, I'm gonna be wiping these, make sure they're clean. And again, just kind of having those all wiped at the beginning is probably gonna be faster. Sometimes I, you know, will wrap both these like this, just for, you know, for this order, it's only getting the 2 of these. I'm just gonna, for the most part lately, I've just kind of been putting each in their own, just to, you know, it's more worth them breaking or clatter, like, you know, hitting together in the shipment. So for this, it's a first class package. It's about half the cost for us for the shipping label to do this versus the flat priority, when we already know that it's this is about a 7-ounce package, which is why it says 7 ounces here on the label. This is going to be, whenever it's 2 terpenes or maybe even 3, this ends up being a perfect size box. This is the 6x4x2. It also fits a label really nicely. And then, so I'm gonna wrap these up. I just grabbed from our bin of random padding material. We recycle a lot of the material that we get, so sometimes it's different. We have a bunch of popcorn on hand, which is what we might typically use, unless we have a bunch of you know, recycled material to be going through first, which in this case I'm going to use a little bit of both. Stick this in here. Folding this. Now in a small box like this, obviously this isn't going to fit perfectly, so I'm just going to, as neatly as possible, fold this in half as one bunch. This is going to go right here. I'm going to throw a few more of these on top to just add that extra layer of padding. Close this down. It's a nice secure box that perfectly fits this label. Now the first class is going to take a little longer in transit than the priority. So in a case that, you know, for any reason, if we can't get every single order out on the same day that I have it printed, I do focus on making sure that these go out first, because they're going to take those couple extra days in transit, and we just want to make sure that they're on the way to the customer as soon as possible. So here's another similar to the one we just did. First Class, and this is just a single bottle. Again, I'm not going to include the skincare brochure, but when we have the terpene brochures, that will go with every terpene order. Padded, the bubbles. Now I'm not sure if we're gonna be just maybe sticking with this one size that we just used for those two. We have had a ton of these 4x4x4 boxes, so we've been going through these for just the single terpene bottle because it fits just fine in here. I'm gonna fold this now because I already have the product. And of course, as I'm shipping, I'm always just double, triple checking that we're shipping the correct order to the correct person. The paperwork is matching up with the name on the label. And just for organization's sake, you know, just kind of keeping just one order at a time is always best. This is gonna fold in half. This is gonna go right here. And that's really all we need in there. Keep it from moving around too much. I'm gonna kind of stick this along the side a little bit, and then it's gonna fold over. Again, just thinking about presentation, you know, we don't want to just kind of slap the label on, try to not have it have a bunch of creases in it, which sometimes is unavoidable, especially with the funkier shaped packages. Best as you can. In any case that it looks like the box might be kind of like weak in an area, or you know, especially in the case of like packing a box A full of product, you know, maybe sometimes that's necessary to kind of add an extra layer of tape. I don't think it was necessary here, but side, put it over. And then you can see with these labels, I'm kind of, you know, just doing my best to kind of have that be where it's folding over so that, you know, USPS can scan this. This is the main part that we try to avoid the any creases, because this is how the tracking stays updated every time they scan it, and the customers like to see updated tracking. Here we have an order for a single bottle of terpenes, 1500 PM. And while these normally go first class in those small boxes, this one, we had some issues with the website. I wasn't able to process some of these orders from last week. So they're a few days behind what we normally would like. So this is going in a priority flat rate envelope to get it there a few days faster than if we stuck with first class. So this, again, the letter here, already checked that it's the right product. They've ordered before, so I'm not putting the skincare brochure. This is going in this padded flat rate envelope. I'm just rolling it up so that there's as much padding as possible, putting it towards the bottom, because I will then use the padding of the envelope to just kind of do the same thing I did with the big bubbles. I'm wrapping it around, and when I do this, I'm putting, I do my best to put the packing slips on the side where I'm gonna kind of be rolling on top of, because it just kind of makes it roll nicely with the package. So again, using the padded envelope as just extra padding. This kind of is just like a nice small little package now. Can put the label on without many creases, hopefully, and that's good to go. Okay, let's see, jumping in halfway through prepping this order right now. This is another, just 2 bottles of terpenes that is going in a padded flat rate envelope because we just need to get it faster. Is the customer faster than the first class? Typically if 2 bottles are kind of going next to each other, I like to kind of, you know, have them opposite rather than like this because they just fit nice like this. And this will fold nicely, pack down. Sometimes, which I'm going to do for this one too, it's not always necessary, but especially for some of the skincare orders, I'm going to do an additional bubble. It's just not worth risking them breaking, with USPS being rough with the orders, with the packages. And well, let's see. That's not going to fit at the bottom, so I'm just going to try it like that. This doesn't need to fold. I'm just going to stick it in there. Here is a combination order, which we get pretty often. So this person has an order from both the skincare and the terpene site. You know, we have 2 separate sites for regulatory reasons, so it's just the way it is. We have 2 separate packing slips for the skincare versus the terpenes. I see that this order is needing a Bible, so I'm going to grab that right away. This is going in a box A, and you'll also see on the label here that there is a snowflake, and that means that this order needs ice. I look up the weather for every shipping destination to see when we have skincare, to see whether or not it's going to need an ice pack for the shipment. The creams, especially if they are traveling through hot areas, really anywhere over like 72 degrees, they need ice in order to not get heat damaged. So this is going in a box A. Typically just 1 piece of tape is fine. I was a little off to the side on that. Again, the Bible doesn't need much padding, so I'm just going to put this on the bottom. I do like to kind of add some padding along the side so it's not just kind of, you know, moving around in there too much. And then let's see, so I'm gonna grab the items I need. I need a sample pack and I need a face cream, again with ice, so it's going in an ice pack. With this just being that this single item, it's gonna fit just fine in the smaller of the ice packs, or the insulated bags. Grabbing an ice pack, putting it in there. I typically do my best, you know, just because heat rises, cold air sinks, so whenever possible, having when I'm going to close this, I'm going to have the cold pack be on top as it's sitting in the package. This doesn't really need extra padding because these are pretty thick, especially it's already going in this box. Making sure this closes all the way to keep the cold in. Sometimes these are hard to take off. Closing this. I know that the weather, just because I've looked these up, is not terribly hot in any place right now. It's better that the terpenes aren't necessarily next to ice. It's okay if this ends up going in a cold pack. It's just not, it's not necessary. For the gummies would probably be the biggest thing, gummies and the soft gels to stay cool. But again, I know it's not terribly hot where this is going, so maybe something to consider for this, which not necessary, but just for showing everything for the sake of the training video. If this is something that we're going to be including with you guys fulfilling and packing orders, this is just kind of a temperature control, you know, just kind of keep it shielded from heat. So I'm just going to wrap it in that. Again, probably not necessary, just showing that for now as another option. So I'm going to fold these. I like to just kind of separate them so they see that there's different packing slips there. I do my best to kind of, you know, the terpene letters going with the terpene receipt, the skincare letter, which we always have to include for any order that is receiving skincare, separate from the terpenes letter. You know, obviously totally different explanation there. That's being included with the skincare receipt. I'm including the skincare brochure with every skincare order, whether they've ordered 100 times or it's their first order. Putting these with the Bible. I'm gonna go ahead and put this here. This is gonna be set right here. I don't really need extra padding for this. I know it's gonna be fine. There's just that one item in there. Really packing these orders, you know, everyone's going to be a little bit different. Maybe I won't even pack it exactly the same each time. I'm just always considering, you know, USPS dropping this, throwing it around. Whoops. Well, there's a perfect example. Throwing it around, and I know that this isn't going to break. And okay, so this is, well, let's see, this might change if we're shipping not from California. Sometimes you might see, let's see, if this is going to be shipping from Colorado, from your guys' facility, maybe if it's like a local, it's shipping to close by, sometimes the box A's, even though we don't actually need that big of a box, the box A is actually like 10 cents cheaper. So that's why, at least in the case for what we're doing here, sometimes if there's a California order that's pretty close by, even if it's just like a single item, not even needing a Bible, which this one does, it'll be in a box A, and that's just because it's saving us like 10 cents. So again, making sure the Bible's not gonna float around too much. A single 1,000 anytime. I'm gonna get this a little bit wet again because it's starting to dry out. Obviously we don't want these to be like wet as we're shipping them, but just that tiny bit of water, it's not leaving any wetness at all. Small bubble, one large bubble. Obviously the box adds some more protection, but this is just kind of really all we need for this. It's our first time ordering. Include the skincare brochure. Let's see. Got a few of these. Those up. Cool. Done. Okay, so here is a terpene order. It does not need a Bible. It is the Pet Products, 2 of the hip and joint. So this is, I mean, it's gonna be packaged the same as if we were just putting 2 bottles of terpenes in a padded envelope. These also fit nicely in these small little bubbles. Sometimes, especially with the hip and joint being a little bigger, you might just have to pull it a little bit to stretch it so that, you know, ideally the sticky part, we're not sticking to the product itself. And this just, you know, again, ensures that they're not going to be hitting each other and maybe making anything crack. And this, because these are pretty big and this didn't roll around the product a bunch of times, I am going to add this into another large bubble pack. And always just kind of folding over to, you know, whether it's the bubble packs or the padded envelopes, it just adds more bubble whenever we're kind of folding over. Okay, sticking this along the side. Okay, so this is similar order. It also has a 1500 anytime, which is already white. So same thing, each of these items is going in its own little bubble pack. These things are super annoying. They stick to everything. I've kind of just gotten in the habit of kind of throwing them down into a pile, and then I'll clear the pile after a handful of orders. Some of us like to, we have a piece of tape on the bottom of the table here, so that if it's stuck to your finger, you just kind of, that didn't work. So I prefer to throw it. Just kind of stick it to the tape there. And one of these. Okay. I'll put that together in just a minute. So let's see. In this case, I'm gonna, you know, kind of do your best to arrange the products where it's just gonna, you know, create like a nice shape to be working with. For in this case, it needs another bubble wrap. Will you text her that we're about to run out of Bibles? Those should have been ordered, but I'm not sure. It was a while ago, I think. And then again, just keeping customer presentation in mind, like as we're sticking the letters in, try not to have them like crinkle. And then of course they need to be folded so that they don't crinkle. So here is another pretty standard, just box A. So it's going to include a Bible and pet product. This is Daily Pet Vitamins and the Hip and Joint. The Hip and Joint is a significantly larger jar, so they're pretty easy to tell apart. Sometimes when products are going in a box, maybe it's not always necessary to put every single item in these small bubbles. In this case, because I know that the box is going to be protecting this pretty well. And just for this example, I can show that, you know, I'm just going to wrap one of these so that they're not going to hit together. I'm going to fold this. It doesn't need another bubble because I'm just going to add some padding inside the box itself. Fold this over. And I have all these letters separated, which is why I'm able to really quickly determine, you know, what's a terpene letter versus skincare. I'm gonna add some popcorn. Set this here. Again, these are just kind of random pieces of padding that we have from other shipments. One of the letters, or both of the letters, state that we recycle shipping material. So if customers get like a box of kind of random material, it's not a big deal. If they read the letter, they'll understand that we're actually recycling this stuff. It doesn't really matter if the label's like horizontal, vertical. Sometimes it's just kind of whatever way I'm holding it, or whatever way looks nicest. Okay, so here's another just really simple way to ship a couple of terpenes in this, the 6x4x2. You know, they don't necessarily need to just be put in here like that with popcorn or maybe even like brown paper we use sometimes. But this is also just kind of a simple, nice way to have all the necessary padding. You know, again, kind of have them sitting next to each other like that, so it just creates a nice little shape here. And then there's obviously extra padding on this side, so I'm just going to kind of squish that down. We try our best as we're packing the terpenes for the, you know, we don't want to squish this part too much in shipping, even though it is flexible. We don't want to mess with it sucking up a bunch of the oil and just kind of getting mangled and possibly deformed. So yeah, we do our best to not have that be bent, which in this case it's not. It's just this extra bubble padding on the side, and then that just creates a really nice secure package there. Very clean looking. The necessary paperwork. And again, this is a first class package, and the label fits nicely on there. Okay, now we're moving on to skincare only orders. These obviously, not everything's just gonna be right on the table if it's stored in the fridges. So before I even start packing anything, I'm gonna make sure that I have all of the product out on the table in front of me. I'm always double and triple checking that I have it all. 3 items. I'll often, yeah, just kind of count and make sure there's just one of each. 3 items here. Similar to the terpenes, I always like to put the face serum in one of these small bubbles, especially just for transit. We've had these leak a lot, which is why this dropper is separate, and that dropper is made of glass, so that's very fragile, as well as the glass bottle. So the serums nearly always go in this, even if it's going to go in an ice pack. which this one is actually. You can see from the snowflake on the label. And let's see, this is gonna fit in a small pack just fine. Maybe a little bit tight. Sometimes the ice packs don't always melt so perfectly shaped like this. So I'll use kind of the wonky ones for, you know, maybe there's just a single item in here and there's extra room. I'll try to kind of get rid of those when I know they're gonna fit. In a case like this, I know that this is gonna be a little bit of a tighter pack in here, so I'm gonna grab a flat one to help make things easier. I usually just kind of play around with you know, when it makes sense to put it in, maybe before product or after product. Sliding it in, and of course just again taking care of how things are packed in here, just making them as nice, you know, fit together as possible. If you're trying to squeeze too much into the small pack, just, you know, switch to the larger insulated. The larger insulated can still fit in the padded envelopes. It usually just kind of needs to be folded down a bit as it's being closed. So this is just going to slide right in here. Pretty simple. We have the skincare letter and the skincare brochure. Close this up. If these ever, you know, get closed, or maybe sometimes I might have to reopen it really quickly if I forgot, maybe putting the letters in or whatever. If it's still, you know, nice and salvageable, adding tape when necessary is fine, but usually it's just not necessary. So here we have quite a few here that are going to warmer weather. So this is another going in ice pack. Hi. One face cream, one repair cream. I like these small simple ones because they're fast and easy to pack. Get all the letters ready. Brochure. Small insulated pack. Usually with these small creams, it's easier to put the ice pack in first. I'm not really worried about these moving around too much in here because it's pretty tight. They're not really gonna move. Just kind of put them like that. It's okay that they're sideways, especially the padded flat rate envelopes get all thrown around and tossed anyway, so they're not necessarily gonna stay in one upright position. But again, when possible, like having the ice pack be on top, and I know I'm about to put the label on this side, so you know, probably more often than not the label's going to be facing up, so I'm going to have the cold pack on the side where the label's going. Okay, so here's a good example of one that's gonna go, this order's gonna go in a padded flat rate envelope because there's not too many products, but there are too many products to fit in a small insulated. So I'm gonna grab the larger, I believe this is like the 9x12 insulated pack, but it's still gonna fit. It's kind of big right here, but it's gonna fold over. Let me just finish this last order and you can take this. So let's see, again, I'm gonna grab the product I need first. 1 ounce grapefruit. For the creams, always double check whether it's 1 ounce or 4 ounce, because there are different sizes. Always, of course, check the quantity. We don't want to, you know, miss sending, maybe if they order 2, 3, whatever of something. So the 1 ounce grapefruit face cream, a face serum, and a hydrosol. The serum right away is going to go in this. I don't want to risk that glass vial breaking. Let's put this in. Ice pack. Ice packs, bubbles, any material really, if there's like, you know, just extra stuff on it that shouldn't be packed, you know, just take it off. Sometimes I'll find like, I don't know, little spider web pieces or whatever. Obviously I wouldn't want to find that in an order of skincare that I'm receiving. Just packing this nicely. So again, this has kind of like some extra space here, and because this is going in a padded envelope rather than a box, which might have some more room, I'm going to kind of keep that in mind as I'm closing this, and kind of just fold this over a little bit to give myself a little bit more just easier ability to fit this in this padded envelope. I kind of have to fold the corners sometimes to make it easier to put in. Some are just going to be a little bit more difficult to slide in than others. And this can kind of have a tendency to snag right there where that's folded over. Use gravity to help you, and that is pretty nicely packed in there. I'm going to fold this, include a skincare letter, brochure. Slides nice and easy along the insulated pack. And there we go. Two repair creams. We've gotten in the habit sometimes of just highlighting if there's more than one of an item, just to make it easier for whoever's packing. If that's not indicated clearly, that's obviously just something to triple check for. Two repair creams fit perfectly in there. No other padding needed. Sometimes these things don't like to close in the center, and just always make sure it's closed all the way. Skincare letter, skincare brochure. Okay, so in this order, it's another padded envelope. It's also getting ice. There's a 3-pack of lip balms. It's always going to be indicated exactly which scents. In this case, it's all the same, minty lavender. It's usually like 3 different scents. I mean, it depends. Might be 3 different scents, might be 2 of one of the other. whenever I see these, or even if it's not necessarily like this product being that 3-pack lip balm, if there's multiple lip balms going in the order, just for keeping things nice and neat and organized, they go in the small square Ziploc. Just keeps them all together and not floating around. Just on repair. In there, simple as that. Brochure and letter. Paperwork is probably going to be updated sooner than later as time goes on. They've been updated before, just even recently with what's been in the letters, but we might, as I have more time to do this stuff, we might kind of opt for just nicer looking like little just little what's the word I'm looking for, just little like nice slips that are maybe kind of like glossy. Maybe we'll have a scan code, but that will come in the future. Let's see. Okay, essential face package. So whenever there is a product that is a package, we will make sure you guys have a list of, you know, what goes in each package. Unless you're very familiar, it's not good to just rely on the picture. If I need a reminder, I know that I just kind of peek at the picture because I know exactly which products those are. We also have a list right here on the fridge. So I know the Essential Face package comes with a toner, a makeup melt, a face cream, which I do not have. Okay, I'm gonna grab that. And then whatever scent it has here is for the scent of the lip balm. There are some packages that might have 2 scents here. It'll say, you know, a scent and then / another scent. We'll have to confirm and make sure you guys know. I'm pretty certain it's lip balm scent, then cream scent. Again, we'll have to just let you guys know for sure of that, but that's where that information will be of which scent to grab for lip balm and or cream. Okay, we're back with the Essential Face package. I have the face cream now. All of the packages have 4 items. It's always a lip balm and 3 other items. So as I'm making sure that I have everything for the order, of course this is just the one package. There's no other line items, but if there are, it's helpful to always remember that there's 4 individual items in any given package. So if I'm counting, you know, okay, here's a package and then 1 and 2, you know, I know that there's 2 and then 4, so there's 6 items total that I'm counting, just to make sure I have everything. This is going in an ice pack. Speaking from experience, you know, you might want to put this face package in a small insulated. It's just not worth trying to squeeze it all in with the ice pack. Sometimes it works, most of the time it doesn't. So nowadays I just opt for the big one. Save myself the hassle. Folding this down. This is just super unideal order. This does not usually happen. All right. Okay, so here's this is another order that can fit in a padded envelope, but because it's shipping so close here in California, I know that it's like 10 cents cheaper to do the box. Does not need ice. Because it's in a box, doesn't need a whole lot of padding. I'm just gonna put these in like this. Recycle these big guys while I can. If there's ever kind of a gap in the top of the boxes, like with this one, just cover it with a label. Okay, so here's just a typical no ice, a few items in a padded envelope. So we need to make sure that these are going to be bubbled well. Face mask, face cream, and scrub. So the face mask and the face scrub, we've gotten a number of times customers complaining that they leaked, especially the face mask. It just gets super messy. So we put them in these. So again, since these are not going in an insulated pack, similar to how we do the terpenes or just any, most of the skincare products, they're each going individually. Before going in the larger bubble. Making a nice, easy to fold shape. Double bubble with that large bubble. So here's a sizable order. I'm going to make sure to grab all the product first. Wash, toner, from that fridge, serum, face cream repair. Okay, I think I grabbed everything, so I'm checking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This for sure right away goes in a little bubble. This order does not have ice. This right away is going in a little bag to not leak. I'm gonna put one of these in a bubble just to make sure, as these are potentially moving around in this box, the glass is not gonna hit the glass. If this was going in a padded envelope, obviously I'd put the other one in a bubble as well. Let's see here. Do this. This is one and one separate. And obviously it probably goes without saying, but whenever possible, especially in the box, this is most likely going to stay upright, hopefully through shipping, and then just, you know, whenever possible, put the products upright. The scrubs and the masks and the those things are a little more important than the creams. They're sideways, not that big of a deal. They normally maintain their shape. They should. Let's see. I'm running out of decent material to recycle. I'm just gonna do the bubbles here, and then just fit this best I can in here. In this case, this is how it's gonna work. I'm always taking note of, you know, if something's kind of butt up against the edge of a box, just kind of thinking about if that were to fall on that side, we don't want anything to crack or break even through the bubbles. So I'm going to kind of shove some padding there. There's already some bubble padding on that side. Cover all the sides. Top. So here's a 3-pack lip balm. These are all unscented. So in this case, it's going to California. It's in a box A, which obviously size-wise does not make sense for the small order. It's actually cheaper than the padded envelope. And the reason that this is not in a first class smaller package is that this customer paid for shipping. And as of right now, if they're paying for shipping, we're making sure that we're using the USPS flat rate. I think we might, it's just gonna be a conversation to figure out that we might not need to do that anymore. Yeah, so I think probably in the future, even if it's like a single like little face cream or something, I think as long as it's going to be under a pound and doesn't need ice, I think we'll probably opt for the first class. The reason that we weren't before, just for audit reasons of making sure that if the customer is paying for shipping, we're actually spending that on shipping. And if we were to choose the first class, it's cheaper than that customer is technically paying on that order. But I think, you know, now that we're having handling fees and things like that, and at the end of the day, so many of our customers get free shipping because they hit the minimum. So, you know, at the end of the month, we're spending more on shipping than we're getting paid from the customers anyways. So I think that's going to change. And an order like this would then just be going in the small square or small cardboard. I know these aren't going to break, so I'm like not too concerned if they kind of fall off to the side. Just going to squish this down here. On the therapeutic gels, because we have the two sizes, and then roll-on is obviously a different name, just always obviously double check the 4 ounce versus the 2 ounce. Let's see, this is getting ice, but this is going in a bubble. The face serum. Fit great in a small insulated. With the gels, if they're not screwed on enough, which we've found was the case for these batches, I'm always just double checking. I'm screwing it on, because if it's not screwed on all the way, it will leak. The, you know, screwing it on tight is what helps, you know, keep that seal sealed. It's what seals it initially. So just as those are being made and bottled too, to just make sure that those are twisted all the way. Put this in too early. I just put that in upside down from the way I normally would. Not a big deal. Because with the label facing up, the ice pack is actually going to be on the bottom, but not the end of the world. These are still sitting here because I accidentally grabbed more without realizing I had already prepped those for myself. Okay, so I see this a lot. Like I said, every package item gets a lip balm, and the scent is normally listed here for whatever scent that they chose. This customer, see it all the time, they didn't actually choose a scent, even though the big drop down has choose scent in all caps. They didn't choose their scent. I always opt for an unscented when I see this. I don't want to risk sending them a scent that they might hate. So just to stay on the safe side, send an unscented whenever you see that. It's a good example of, there's only 2 line items on here, but I know that this has 4 items, so there should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 individual products right here. If it's just an individual lip balm, it doesn't need to be in a little bag. You can just go in there. A lot of cases, this is like $4 to $5 less expensive than putting it in a box. So whenever it is going to fit in the padded envelope, we definitely prefer to opt for that. And it still fits nicely. And then here's another California. Doesn't need to be in a box, but it's in a box because it's cheaper. This isn't the case with all California orders. I actually just kind of check depending on the California location, which, you know, it's only 10 cents, so it might not be something worth checking for you guys in terms of like a close Colorado shipping. You know, just if it needs a box A, box A. If it's gonna fit in a padded envelope, opt for a padded envelope. Face cream and Pepsol. And even though this is padded itself, I don't just want to put this in here on its own because it can end up moving around a lot. So I, you know, always still do a little bit of padding. Top probably doesn't need it as much, and I know that the ice pack's right there. But and that's it for the skincare. I think it covered about all the different kinds of orders. There wasn't any box Bs. Same thing as box A's though, you know, just obviously a bigger box for more product. In rare cases, I've done like maybe an order needs 2 boxes. It's really rare though, and in that case it might just make sense to ship, you know, FedEx in whatever size box needed. Yeah, I think that's it for now.